All right, hey guys. So great to be here, and I just wanted to sort of take this opportunity to talk to you a bit more about so about what we're doing at Polygon, and also like maybe take some questions which you have. So previously we were Matic Network, and now we've sort of rebranded ourselves to Polygon. And just give me 1 second. All right. So again, just wanted to take this chance to talk to you a bit more about Polygon and what we've been doing there, and also why lots of NFT projects have been sort of very interested in our network as well. In fact, today Elon Musk also used sort of put a tweet up for auction using Cent, which is also built on Polygon. So let me just jump right into it. So again, Polygon, we were previously Matic Network, and we sort of changed our name to Polygon. And I'll sort of talk to you why we did that and what that means. Um, so just to quickly jump into it, so the story actually starts in 2017, right? So what are core offerings? So we were started. So our company sort of started in 2017. We were Matic Network, and that's when the conversation about scaling really started. So there were a lot of I don't know how many of you remember, but there was this CryptoKitties episode where essentially there was this one app, right, which managed to sort of clog the entire sort of Ethereum network. And obviously that prompted a lot of questions, right, about scalability and about how we could potentially sort of scale Ethereum, so and bring it to a state where you can actually deploy like very sort of scalable solutions, something which thousands of users can use, which will not clog the system. And the prevailing thought process at the time was around using plasma technology. So that's kind of how where we built our sort of our primary offering, which is a hybrid plasma POS sidechain. And essentially, just to break that term down, which is plasma POS chain. So we use plasma technology. So essentially, every few blocks, we will Merkle root the transactions and then we'll place a checkpoint on Ethereum. And what that does is it ensures that all your assets are secured by Ethereum security, right? And so this is kind of why we also call ourselves a commit chain versus a pure side chain, right? So because everything, whatever's happening on our network is committed in a way to the Ethereum main chain. So all your assets, all your NFTs, everything is secured by Ethereum security. And of course, this was a great solution. This is a production grade solution. It is still sort of our sort of mainstay technology. We're still continuously developing it. And all the DApps on our platform are deployed on this hybrid Plasma POS sidechain. Which again uses Plasma, so we commit everything to Ethereum. However, when we did this, right, so this kind of prompted further questions, to us especially, right, about what the future of scaling should look like. And that's kind of what happened, is that the solution led to this problem statement, which is we kind of realized that while in 2017 we had we had Plasma as a sort of the accepted approach around scaling. What has happened since then is we've had optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, and there could be other scaling solutions which come up in the future as well. And each, of course, technology has its own trade-offs, right, in terms of positives, negatives. And what we kind of realized is that different projects have different needs, so multiple solutions are likely to coexist in the future. Also, the ever-changing L2 landscape. So, for example, there are new innovations in scaling which kind of tend to make the old ones obsolete in many ways. So, for example, Plasma was the accepted approach in 2017, but today the conversation is all about optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, and the like. At the same time, right, there was no formalized framework which offered multiple solutions. So, for example, if you wanted to use a particular scaling technique, you had to then switch between different chains. You had to make those kind of decisions, and there was no single one place where a developer could go and get access to all of these different scaling techniques. And of course, what this meant, I mean, we like to call ourselves Ethereum maximalists, right? So we feel Ethereum is the best ecosystem and is the most diverse and the largest in the blockchain verse. And because of these performance concerns and these other issues with scalability and generally complexity, there's this never-ending list of Ethereum killers, which keep getting developed every now and then. And because of this scalability and cost concerns. So looking at what the future of scaling would be is how we came up with the Polygon sort of system, as one might say, or the Polygon solution, right? So essentially, the idea was to develop like a Swiss Army knife for Ethereum scaling, and the idea was to create an aggregator of sorts for all the different L2 scaling techniques. So ZK rollup chains, optimistic rollup chains, shared security chains, if you want to use Plasma, all of these different scaling technologies would be available under one umbrella. And you would also have the ability to spawn a standalone chain. And this is important from an enterprise perspective. So a lot of enterprise companies want their own chain, they want their own validators and things like that. So they should have that ability as well. Of course, you have all of these different chains. You need to have some way to interoperate between them, right? And to be able to communicate across these chains. And that's so, what this would do essentially would turn Ethereum into a proper multi-chain system, right? So a good way of understanding this would be like a Polkadot, but on Ethereum. So essentially, instead of having a substrate layer and then parachains and all of that, we've actually put Ethereum at the center, which is a tried and tested technology. Has been in development for over 5 years. Is again, like I said, largest, most diverse ecosystem out there. Hundreds of DApps, so much more adoption. And what we felt is that by keeping Ethereum in the middle, and we could create this sort of scaling layer around it. And what this would do is that essentially it would sort of kind of take Ethereum to the next level and be able to, and then we would be able to do sort of, build the kind of applications which currently which is simply not supported by Ethereum's sort of scaling bottlenecks and the current state of its technology. And of course, so what this means in terms of metrics is essentially, what you get is a 2-second block time. So any transaction you do is final in 2 seconds. We've also are EVM compatible, so anything which works on Ethereum works on our network. We also use the same ERC style assets, so we don't have our own custom token standard. All your assets are secured on Ethereum. The transactions are extremely cheap. So for example, as a number, for $10 on Polygon, you can do like 2 million transactions. A typical transaction costs something like $0.00004. It's practically free. And this is true for anything, right? So if you want to mint NFTs, if you want to trade them, if you want to mint your own ERC20 token, if you want to do anything, like the cost on average is 100,000 times cheaper than what it is currently on Ethereum. And what this does, right? So what does this do? So when you bring a really high performing chain and you also bring really, really inexpensive transactions, this combination brings the focus right back on user experience. Right, so all of these conversations we have of getting mainstream users, like the Web2 users who's used to, let's say, Netflix or Uber or any of those different kinds of apps on iOS or Android, you need to be able to give them the same experience in a Web3 environment, right? In a blockchain environment. Otherwise, you're not going to get that adoption. And that's what we wanted to do. So if you just look at that problem statement and you work backwards, like you kind of understand why we made these kind of decisions. And what this has meant for us is that we have over 100 apps deployed, at least 100 more, which have been currently, in progress. 400 billion in terms of TVLs rising daily, 160,000 transactions on a daily basis, all organically grown. And again, we've become sort of the de facto platform in many ways for NFTs, gaming, and even lots of DeFi applications. Fast growing developer community. So we've crossed the 100K mark on Twitter, growing rapidly, Discord as well. And at the same time, we have lots and lots of amazing DApps using our ecosystem, right? So if I were to jump, and before I jump into the DApps, I also wanted to just quickly cover that, our core team from Matic remains the same, that we have Jayanti, Sandeep, and Anurag. We also Mihailo, who's sort of the person who came up with the Polygon concept initially, has also joined us as co-founder. And then, of course, we have some amazing advisors, right? Hudson James, Ryan Sean Adams from, Bankless, Anthony Sassano, John Lilich, several others. So a lot of the key people who've been involved with Ethereum have now joined us to sort of help build the future of Ethereum scaling, as one might say. And one of the biggest advantages of building on Polygon, right? So before we get into that, on the DeFi side, we have some really amazing apps on our platform. Poly Market, one of the most popular prediction markets out there. A QuickSwap, which is an amazing DEX. It's like a Uniswap clone, but on a Polygon, has over $100 million in liquidity. It's growing really quickly. SportX, again, sort of a betting protocol. And just to get into the gaming and the NFT side of things, right? So all your major games, Neon District, Decentral games, Avagoji, right? Very addictive game. So I've really been into Avagoji these last couple of weeks, but very amazing. Mega Crypto Poly, Chain Guardians, OpenSea also is now launching on Polygon. Comet Games, again, amazing team and amazing products. So some of the best NFT games, NFT projects out there are either already on us or are building on us. And one of the reasons, one of the best things about Polygon is that everything which works on Ethereum essentially works on Polygon. So all of your developer tooling, everything which you're used to on Ethereum, it's the same on Polygon. Right? So essentially, if you're an Ethereum developer, you're automatically a Polygon developer. All your things, right? Whether it's depositing assets, transferring assets between Ethereum and Polygon, you want to go from layer one to layer two to layer one back again. All of those kind of things, like all of that is seamless, and it's super easy to do, right? So you can do those kind of funky things, like you can mint, like batch mint, NFTs on the Polygon network because it's so cheap, and then you can choose to transfer them onto L1 if you want to go to, like, I don't know, like some specific marketplace or something like that. Um, at the same time, again, EVM compatibility, simple SDKs, making it really easy for any developer to enter, exit the chain, and yeah, and just to move. I also had a developer video, but it's kind of long, so I'll post the link for that. So on the development side, if you want to take a look, you can get an idea of how easy it is. And yeah, infrastructure tooling remains the same. So all your wallets, all your popular wallets, MetaMask, Arcane, Fortmatic, Wallet Connect, Oracle's Chainlink, Band, Razor, like utilities, on-ramps, meta transactions, all your infrastructure tooling, marketplaces as well. So Arcane's marketplace is already live. OpenSeas will be live very soon. I think probably tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, so everything which you used to on Ethereum, you can essentially use on our network. So yeah, so that kind of really just brings me to the end of the presentation which I had in mind. And I think what I can do right now is just take some questions. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to sort of take those and yeah, and yeah, we could kind of take it from there.
Great. So Polygon was previously Matic. What sparked the name change to Polygon?
Man, it was a tough decision, because the jury was equally split because Matic already had great brand recall. But then what we kind of felt is that for what we're building and what we represent, we needed to sort of give it the right name, which was fitting to this concept. So if you look at Polygon mathematically, it's an n-sided figure which can, fit any shape or any size. And that is the kind of flexibility we wanted to bring, to the Ethereum ecosystem when it comes to scaling, when it comes to development. So we felt that the name Polygon was fitting, obviously in an ultra geeky way, but that's how we are, I guess. So yeah, so that's kind of where the name Polygon came from.
And obviously, there's no connection to Polygonal Mind. Is that right?
No, there's no connection to that.
Yeah. Do you have any games brewing from them, as possibly Neon City coming?
You mean from Polygonal Minds?
Yes.
So Polygonal Minds team is obviously exciting. I've spoken to them before, so I can't comment on that right now. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see something go live, very soon. And then honestly, guys, if you want to just take a quick peek at, let me just see if I can just. So I think one of the community members, just sort of reached out to me today, and he's put together this cool website, awesomepolygon.com. You can just check this out. It gives you an idea of some, at least I think he's covered quite a few of the apps which are deployed um, on our network. So you can check this out. I'm actually trying to reach out to him and get him to update this with all the others. So yeah, so if you have any sort of, if you want to know about all the different deployments, you can like kind of check it out there. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about XDai? Do you guys have any kind of competitiveness with XDai? Do you see yourselves as in like working together, or what are kind of some of the differences that people might not know between you?
Sure, definitely. So I think XDai is also a great project. I think if I'm not wrong, they came out of I think ETH Berlin, and back in the day, and they're trying to solve the same problem, which is scalability. So I think they've been fairly successful as well. I think there are some differences in the way XDai operates as a technology, right, compared to us. So, for example, we've gone with the sort of a proof of stake decentralized route, right? So we have over 90 different validators spread across the globe. And while XDai has gone with a different approach, where they've gone with a proof of authority approach, right? Where there are like I think 8 fixed validators who do sort of the validation. So that's a different approach. So we've gone with a more decentralized approach. There are some other technology differences, but just from like a high level, both of us are trying to solve the same problem. Both of us want Ethereum to succeed. We're very passionate about the Ethereum ecosystem. So that way, I don't really see it as competitiveness. I guess it's like we've used a different sort of tech approach towards solving for scalability, which we feel is more superior and sort of is more decentralized, more censorship resistant, and I think maybe from a future perspective more scalable. So that's again I'm biased, obviously. can't blame me there, but right, definitely. No, but yeah, again, it's a great team, man. So I think they're doing a great job. But yeah.
Great, thank you. And one of the big advantages for Matic that I see right now is
Mm-hmm.
the integration with OpenSeas, which is pretty much our standard marketplace.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, definitely. So yeah.
How did that partnership come about? Is there any kind of official partnership, or did OpenSeas pick up Matic?
Um, so uh, So we've been so I think OpenSea has been evaluating they were evaluating many different Layer 2 solutions for a while, and even with OpenSea, right? So OpenSea obviously wants to bring more power to content creators, right? You want to take that away from companies, centralized companies, and put the power in the creators' hands. Now the problem, what is happening, just to give you a backdrop, right? The problem, what is happening is that, and this is true for every NFT marketplace, is that typically when we read on Twitter, we tend to read about the $100,000 NFT or the $1 million NFT, but 95% of the NFTs are between $0 to $100, right? And when your gas fees is $30, like nobody's gonna buy that. So there's a huge amount of inventory, which like never gets sold, and this keeps so many creators, apart from the famous ones, right? Away from sort of really monetizing their art or sort of their content. So that's kind of what I think every NFT marketplace figured out, and so also OpenSea, right? So they started hunting for L2 solutions for a while, right? And yeah, and then we spoke to them, they spoke to us, they liked our technology, and it was a long engagement, where we answered many of the questions. The developers took a look at our stack, and that's kind of where sort of the partnership came about. And we had planned like a proper big bang launch of sorts, but somebody found the repo, right, on our GitHub, and the news got leaked on Twitter. So yeah, but I mean the community reaction was very positive, so we're very happy about that. So yeah, so that's kind of really how it went about, and what is the problem which L2 is solving for many of these marketplaces.
And so obviously we're talking about layer 2 solutions.
Mm.
How easy is it to use kind of the bridge to swap between layer 2 solutions, and how far do you think that might be off?
Okay, so just correct me if I'm wrong. So when you say swap between different layer 2 solutions, you mean like something like maybe a Polygon and XDai, or do you mean between Ethereum and Polygon?
Yeah, I'm talking about switching like tokens from Matic and Polygon to XDai, or XDai to Polygon.
Okay, so I think there are several ways to do that. So I think the folks at Connext, who are trying to solve cross-chain sort of transfers in general, have I think built a bridge for that, so you can swap assets, easily between XDai and Polygon. And similarly, there are teams like the P Network team is also building a bridge to Polygon, from Polygon to Binance Smart Chain. So all those bridges are being built between different chains. So I think it's going to be fairly easy. When I say fairly easy, all of these things are going to become sort of, with the GUI and all of that's going to be ready in maybe like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's going to be very easy to sort of, swap between different layer 2 chains. And in general, I also feel that, connecting all the different layer 2 solutions is an extremely important thing, not just from the liquidity standpoint, but also the fact that like currently you have the Ethereum sort of ecosystem being split or fragmented amongst, let's say, 3 or 4 different chains. And so imagine them. So the way to visualize this is that they're like islands, right? And when you build the bridges between these islands, then these communities which are fragmented get to interact with each other and sort of move about from different chains. And what's going to happen over a period of time is that this these communities, right, will eventually coalesce towards this one solution, which sort of solves the majority of the problem, or whatever ecosystem they feel is the best. So it's like this, like, I don't know, like a strange way of natural selection, which is being accelerated, which is already happening, but it's been accelerated by creating these bridges, which allows these communities to move about freely and also interact with each other. So I think this is extremely important, and it's already kind of a solved problem. It has to just be solved in a better way with better GUI to make it easy for the average user to sort of swap their liquidity, tokens, NFTs, whatever have you, between different L2 solutions.
So one of the things for the tokens being locked on the network that I've noticed is that when people do the tools for them, a lot of the contracts or other tokens that they might expect are not there, or obviously have different token addresses. So what's one of the ways that we can kind of ensure that some of the tools that we expect make it over to these other layers?
So I think the teams who are developing these L2 solutions need to solve for these kind of problems, right? So I'll give you an example of what we've done. So what we follow is this approach, right? Which is we have this interface. So we've already built the bridge from, let's say, L1 to L2, right? So we built this sort of interface, which is your wallet.matic.network, and then you can use this to sort of easily move funds from L1 to L2 or L2 to L1, right? And it's fairly easy. All your all your, like, as you can see, there's a huge number of tokens which have been already bridged, things like that. So here you don't have to worry about the token address. You can just like select anything, and you can like sort of send anything anywhere. And what we've also built is sort of we built an easy tool that if you see there's a token which is not there, or like it's just like maybe a custom token or an LP token, right? Sometimes you can go to Mapper, which is mapper.matic today, and you can just put in a mapping request. Like you can just put in a mapping request right here. You can fill in the details, and it sort of map that token for you. So I think just by building these kind of interfaces, we just make it easy for anybody to use and then transfer liquidity. I think this is something which L2 chain or teams like ours, for example, or other teams need to solve for and make it easy for users. And so this has been our approach. I'm sure that other chains have similar approaches as well. And this is why I wanted to show you this, is because even with cross-chain liquidity, it needs to look like this. Right? It needs to be this easy. Like I should be able to select like a network or do whatever, and then be able to do it. And then those interfaces will also be ready soon. So I think it's really the onus on the L2 chain creators or the team behind the L2 chains, and also the partner network they've built to sort of really bring about these solutions to make it easy for the user, to do these kind of things. So yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, that looks like exactly what I was kind of hinting at. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys are cognizant of it and working on a solution that helps map addresses.
Absolutely. And again, different token addresses, like, is a problem. I mean, you can't really solve, right? Because it's on another chain, so the address is going to be different. But like I said, the tooling, if it just makes it easy, then yeah, it's great to see. You can see the ETH address, math address, anything. So you want to check out dgen, you can and then if you want to check out other stuff, for example, you can just click copy it, and then you can go to like Etherscan and do your due diligence or whatever. Like if you want to see what the token address looks like or something, if it's verified or not, like those kind of things. So you can just like quickly scroll over, and there you have it. And then you can go and see the contract that's verified as well. So yeah, and you can see the code, and so it has to be like intuitive and easy to use. So yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of medical billing with ICD codes. You have to always be kind of mapping the right ICD-9 to ICD-10, and otherwise insurances won't pay.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's yeah. So it has to happen automatically. So like if you so with this kind of interface, what we felt is where you can like see all of these things. It's just like, so. For example, on the Matic side, if you want to take a look, you can do that. I mean, I don't know if the medical sort of analogy is the best analogy, because man, that all that medical like sort of bills and stuff is just quite a nightmare. It definitely needs to be more streamlined, but like yeah, we try to like make it as easy as possible for teams to just sort of do the basic stuff, take a look, read the contract, and yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, sure, definitely, man. Happy to be here, and of course, you can find me on Discord anytime. Anybody has any questions, just feel free to reach out to me, and of course, I'll cover anything you want to know, and if there's some way we can help you with your project as well.